Hey everyone, today I'm gonna install this Whirlpool low profile microwave. It's a microwave hood combination, so the actual venting passes through the microwave from your stove top. So that will go in this space right here. It will replace this hood. Some things that need to be done even before completely unboxing the microwave is one, removing the hood, finding out exactly where the venting goes, and in this case looks like the venting goes out through the wall rather than through the roof, but there's a chance it goes into the wall and then up and out the ceiling. That can be solved very quickly just by walking outside. This will need to be removed, and then you got to find out where the electricity is going into the wall, because the outlet is going to have to be put up here so the microwave can be plugged into a regular outlet up here. Another thing about the venting is, depending on what type of venting you have, makes a determination as to how you do other things. This venting looks like it's in the center, so I have to figure out where the wall studs are, and this is a modular home. And then the other thing is, this backsplash will be trimmed out so that the microwave isn't sitting up against the wall. This is a pretty lightweight hood, so there are only 4 screws holding it in. There's nothing holding it into the back wall, so it's basically just being held up here, screwed into the cabinet up above. For now, I didn't really need to remove the 4 screws. I just needed to loosen, because they do have where you can loosen it, and then there's an open space that allows you to pull it out. There are no screws holding this hood in, and it almost seems like there is some kind of caulk or glue or something that they put in at the top of this. It's really hard to see, but it's like a foam sealant. Yeah, it looks like that expanding foam. There's a big gob of it back there at the top, in the middle, and then there's probably a whole bunch on the back wall. Here's what we got. So there was expanding foam put around this vent. You can see there's quite a bit of it. They rough cut the bottom of the cupboard, and then I don't know what they did over here. It almost looks like it just ripped through, but yeah, that's how it is. And then it looks like they put some blocks up in here for the hood to sit flush. Now we know that this is a wall vent. Not exactly sure where the wall studs are yet. Thought I saw some markings. It might have been on the inside of the vent, but I thought I saw some markings. One stud here that's about 6.5 inches in, and then there's one over here that's about 8.5 inches in. The wall studs are definitely not centered. Definitely be able to still do this. I do need to remove this center cupboard, because the power cord needs to run up through here and then plug into an outlet on the wall. So I'm going to take this out, cut a hole bigger, and then put this on the wall, on the actual wall, because it's only set to a depth that allows it to lock onto the wall, but not the wall plus the cupboard. And then put the wall plate on it, and it'll be recessed back on the wall through the cabinet. That way the power cord for the microwave will run up through here. I'll get a hole saw, cut a hole right here for that to pass through, and then plug into the outlet that'll be on the wall. Here's where we're at with the overhead cabinet removed, and you can see where it looks like they put nails through the wall to determine where the wall studs were, and then attempted to find the edges of it so they could find center of it. Good thing is the vent is already where it needs to be. This is going to have to be moved up, and then some joint compound will need to be put in there. This was a cutout, or more of a tear out, that was done in order to put the vent in the wall under the cabinet. And I say tear out because it looks like what they did is they just ripped it out while it was still on the wall, instead of removing it from the wall and cutting it properly. So I'm going to clean that up. This isn't even necessary, but I'll cut this out just to square it off. I now have the hole cut in the back of the cabinet. This is probably about 1/4 inch thick in the back. So I cut that out so that the wall plate can still be taken off. It fits in there if the wall plate needs to be taken off for whatever reason. So now what I need to do is put the cabinet back up here. I'm going to draw that square out and then take it back down so that I can put the box in and wire it up. Put the cover back over the center, and I've traced where the outlet box is going to go. That's just the cover size. The outlet box will fit within that square and be smaller. Now I'm going to take the cabinet back down so that I can cut it out. Got the hole for the outlet box cut out, and it fits right in there. All I gotta do is tighten these screws down and it will lock it onto the drywall. And then I just need to run these wires up, pull them through here, and then wire the outlet. Should have mentioned this, but I didn't. The power has been off this entire time. I was using a light that was on an extension cord coming from another room. So the power's been out the entire time. So this wire is not hot at all. So the wire coming through this gash in the wall. It's now coming through here. Get this set up, punch through, pull wires through. It's nice and somewhat flush. I mean, it's surface mounted where these tabs are, but it is on there. Cut these wires down. Definitely got way more than is needed. Gonna go white to silver screw, black to gold, and then we'll go ground to green screw. Alright, all of the wiring is secured. The wall plate being within the line is a good sign that when I put the cover back up, it will line up with the hole in the cabinet. Could just leave this hole here and fill it with something, but what I'm going to do is just trim it out and then put a piece of wood back there and then fill it with some joint compound. I use this piece of wood here, and I have a screw here in the center so that what I can do is put it in the wall while still holding on to it so it doesn't fall down inside the wall. And then what I'm going to do is pull it up against the back side of the wall, and then I'll put a screw here and a screw here that will hold a piece of wood in place so that I can put joint compound in there. This screw also helps prevent the piece of wood from sliding down and falling inside the wall. I also made sure, since the power feeding this outlet is right back here. I pushed it all the way back, make sure that I won't put a screw in it. Do gotta make sure you countersink your screw. Once a piece of wood's in, and you can remove the center screw. This should be enough to keep the joint compound in place. All right, now that the cabinet's in, I've got this joint compound in here. I'm gonna let it dry and then I'll put some more on it, sand it down. But now I've got to remove part of this backsplash. So I've already gone over, this is where the drop line is for the microwave back panel to sit. It actually goes to here, but I have to go down here. Otherwise I'm gonna have to cut all these, which is just gonna make a huge mess. So I'm going to go right here on this grout line. And right now, I'm trying to break up this grout at the very top so that I can get behind it and hopefully peel some of it off without damaging the wall or causing damage to the tiles down below. Gotta love backsplash. So this has been cut down. I tried to do it right on the grout line, but removing it from the wall was nearly impossible. So now I'm gonna have to cut this out so that I can place the drywall. It's now day 2 on the job. I had to stop yesterday because the joint compound needed to dry. This was a little too thick, so it cracked up some, but now I can just put another coat over it because it is dry now. And then here, and then over here, and then throw some paint on it. This is the back side of the microwave. And you can see there's 2 cutout panels right here, one there and one there, and that is for the damper if you're going to vent through the wall. If you're going to vent through the ceiling, then you have to remove this piece. To remove these cutouts, it says to use a set of diagonal wire cutting pliers. So unless you happen to have a very thin set, it is very difficult to get in here to cut these. I have to use these long nose to pry it out a little bit, and then try to use these to get in there. So here's the 2 metal cutouts removed. Once you get one, you can just use a pair of needle nose or a pair of pliers, and then you can actually just twist them right off. You don't have to actually cut every little tab. But if you decide to twist them off, then they become all mangled. But more than likely, you're not going to be using them again anyway. The thing that's got to be done is this needs to be put on, and it will go on like this. So the hinge will be at the top, which is right there. So it'll go like this away from the microwave, and then you'll put 2 screws, one there and one there. Attach it to the back side. Here are the nuts, bolts, washers, screws that come in the box with the microwave. These are going to be the only ones you get. If you need something else, you'll have to go get it at a hardware store. But you'll get these 2 bolts. These are the ones that you will screw into the wall that will hold your mounting bracket, which is right there. These can also be used, these long screws with these toggle nuts. You can use these if you don't have a wall stud to go into, or you can use them as a combination of these and these lag bolts right here. These two with the washers are the ones that are going to go through your upper cupboard above the microwave, and these you'll put it through the inside of the cupboard like this and into the microwave. And there's one that goes on each side. It may look like these screws are way too long and won't make it all the way into the microwave, but they actually do go all the way down. They took that into account when they designed this. So these will go all the way in. And then the last thing is, if you happen to have a metal cupboard above your microwave, this is just a bushing that prevents your electrical cord from coming into contact with the metal cupboard above the microwave. One of the things you won't know until you actually get the microwave, because prior to getting this microwave, some things don't come with power cords. It's like an additional thing you have to buy. And as you can see, this one does come with a power cord that comes out the top of the microwave. In the instructions, because you can download or view the instructions online, and when you pull the instructions up, no picture shows the power cord coming out of the top of the microwave or behind the microwave. And I actually looked through a lot of the questions that people were asking, and nobody even asked about whether the power cord was attached to the microwave or not. Also inside the instructions, the only thing it does say is that a 3-pronged 120 AC power cord needs to be used, but it doesn't say that's provided or needs to be purchased. It would have been nice if it said that clearly, because almost ended up purchasing a power cord, but did not know for sure, other than 3-prong 120 AC power cord, and I think it has to be 15 to 20 amps. In this step, the covers, this one, and then this one, need to be removed. And in the instructions it says that this is B, this is C, and this is B. Both B's and the C will be removed, and then you're going to keep C for the next step. Once you have the 3 screws removed, these out. Alright, so when you take this one out, the other 2 you just remove. This one, all you're going to do is take it, rotate it 180 degrees, and you're going to put it right back in here, and then put a screw in it. And then you should have these 2 covers that were in the styrofoam in the box, and all you're going to do is take one of them, put it in this one, take this one, that one right there, put the screws in. The joint compound is all dry, it's sanded down. Now I just need to put a coat of paint on it to clean it up. Got everything taped off, and here where I trimmed the backsplash tiles, I'm going to put a bead of caulk just to give it a cleaner look along this top, but I'll do that once I get the paint done. I also removed all this spray-in foam right here. I'll put some new stuff in here, but when I put the microwave in, I may need this to shift a little bit, and right now it's like not moving at all, but I may need to move it some. This plate right here is used to mount the microwave on the back wall. This will go on the back wall first, and then the microwave will go in, and then these 2 pieces right here will hold the back of the microwave in place while it's being mounted. The other thing with this, and the reason why you don't put it on the wall right away, is that it's also a template for underneath the cabinet. So what you do is you place this plate all the way against the back wall. And then what you can do is mark your hole for where your cord is going to go into the cupboard above, and then you can also mark where your screws are going to go into the top of the microwave through the top of the cabinet. So this is what will be done. These tabs need to be sticking back out. When I got this out of the box, one of the tabs was sticking out and the other one was in here. So what you're going to do is make sure you center it where the microwave is going to go. What you have to do is where the tabs are, where the holes are, you're going to mark it, and then you need to also mark you have to mark this hole where the cord passes through. You have to mark here and the other one as well. So one's right there, one is right there, and then the circle right here for the cord to pass through. And the hole for the power cord to go through is a 1.5 inch hole saw. If the bottom of your cabinet is not flat, like this one's recessed, so these spacer boards were put in here. And you do want to have these in here because if they're not in there, when you put the bolts in through the top of the cabinet into the microwave, you could be damaging the microwave or damaging your cabinet. One of the things I need to do based on where I drew these holes is this one here needs to be moved over this way so it's not right on the edge of the wood here. And I just got to take those two screws out. Put some spray foam in here, back around this vent. Now what I'm going to do is, you can see my trace for the power cord. And I've got a 1.5 inch hole saw. I will center this and drill the hole for the power cord. Got my power cord hole in the bottom of the cabinet. And what I did is I started on the bottom, and then when I got about halfway, I took the drill from the top and drilled downward. And what that did was help prevent like a breakthrough cut, where as you're continuing through this way, because this is particle board, as it starts to break through, you get a really bad cut on the top because it just busts through. Something I didn't notice when I was using this template under the cabinet to determine where these two bolts go that go through the top of the cabinet into the top of the microwave, I didn't notice that there was a difference in how far they were from this edge. So this one is 3 inches in, and this one is only 2 inches in. When I first realized after putting the bolts in, I was like, something's off. And then I actually went and looked at the top of the microwave, and you can see that this one is longer than this one. So this one's 2 inches and this one is 3 inches. When you go to put these lag screws into the wall studs, don't even bother using the screwdriver or using a cross tip bit, because it's just going to strip out by the time it gets all the way in. So the best thing to do is use a 11mm socket on a drill, and then just be careful not to drive it through the wall. All right, I've got the back plate on now, and it's centered on the wall vent, and the only thing holding this plate on is 2 lag screws, one here and one here. In fact, this is where, well, they give you 3 different options. If you have a stud on the end, you can put the lag bolts on the ends. If you have studs here, which I do here and here, it tells you to put the screws here. I had to make a new hole because this hole right here was exactly between 2 studs, so it wasn't holding anything, so I adjusted it to here. And then another option is, if you're not venting through the wall and you're venting through the roof, then if you had a center stud, you could put a lag bolt in here. And in the instructions actually says you only require 1 lag bolt. So if you had a single lag bolt here, it says it's fine. It's kind of weird that the lag bolts are here and nothing up at the top. I've read all through the instructions, and I mean, there's all these holes, but it doesn't say anything about putting any screws in these upper holes. So you do have the lag bolts, but you also have the other bolts. You have these long screws with the toggle nuts that you can use if you don't have studs where you need them. You would put these into the drywall in place of the lag screws. I mean, you could possibly use them all together if you wanted to. It does seem like it's pretty strong, the way that it is. Strong enough to hold a microwave anyway. All right, the microwave is in. I've got the microwave mounted on the 2 points at the bottom on that back plate, and then I've got the 2 screws going in on the top, and there it is. And I don't recommend trying to do this on your own, but I had to because I'm by myself doing this. But it would have been easier with 2 people. So now what I need to do, besides plugging it in, is I need to make sure that it's level left to right and front to back. I got my level here. It is a little off. I can't bring the right up anymore, so I will have to bring the left side down to fix that. And it's off front to back. So yeah, the front needs to come up in order to be level. There it is. Microwave is completely installed. Everything's done. The last thing I need to do is turn the fan on and then go outside and look at the vent on the wall outside to make sure that the damper is opening so that the air can blow outside. When I put the microwave in, the vent on the back of the microwave went right into the vent on the wall, so there was no issue with that. But I do need to make sure that it is functioning the way that it's supposed to. Because if the damper doesn't open, then no air is going to pass through from the inside to the outside. This vent for the microwave had some foam sealant tape right here and on this side, but then somebody tried to fix it by putting some caulk all along here, which didn't seal anything. You can see this is the piece that was on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace that with this weather seal vinyl foam. You got the light, which is high and low. Well, you have high, low, and off. And then for the fan, high, high, low, low, and off. And something that's nice about this microwave is you don't have too many keys. I mean, you do have the light, you do have the fan, you've got start, cancel, and then you got hold to lock for 3 seconds, and then you got open. So on this microwave, you just touch the open button and it automatically opens the door. And when the door is open, all your controls are right here inside the door, so you don't have to see them on the outside. Presets, and then you got clock, turntable, timer, and over here you got a cooking guide on the door, and then on the underside you've got your filter. There is so you have to push this piece in, and then there's also a carbon filter, and there's 2 of them. So there's one on this side, and then there's one on this side, and then you have your light right here.